This is Mr. C. How are you? How are you? How are you? How are you? We are recording this for the individuals who couldn't make it. We had a really incredible conversation with the individuals who were on early, who had an opportunity to get on the conference call. And one of the things that I acknowledge with them is, as a businessman and as the CEO and leader of the Mavette Way Community Empowerment Movement Network, I can tell you our community goal is to create 12,000 millionaires and 3 billionaires. Now, as far-fetched as some people might feel that to be, I believe that if anyone else can do it, we can do it. If you go and Google Microsoft and you look at how many millionaires they created, you would see 12,000. How many billionaires? You would see 3 billionaires. So if you understand the concept of having an imagination with will and with desire, and you bring up your desire, that means it brings up your vibration. If you bring up your vibration, you're going to connect to the frequency that is on that is equal to the frequency that helped them get 12,000 millionaires and 3 billionaires. See, the concept is easy, and repetition is the mother of all learning. So the more I say it, the more I throw it out into the universe, the more I fuse with the vibration. That means the potential is there as long as we maintain the will to hold on to the imagination, which strengthens the desire, which strengthens the vibration, which strengthens the hold on the frequency. I can tell you, we're on that frequency. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. In time, you'll get a better understanding of how success works. It's not a coincidence that successful people are successful, especially the ones who learned how to stop from nothing to something. See, some individuals have it naturally, but there are some individuals who understand this concept, who were broke, now they're rich. Who were part of the have-nots, now they're part of the haves. Who had no dream and vision, now they're helping other people create their own dreams and visions. Why? Because they learned the formula towards success. And I'm going to constantly give you the formula, but while I'm giving it to you, I'm giving it to me at the same time, because when you teach it, you learn it. One thing Bob Proctor has taught me, that he never stops learning. He learns every day. He structures himself to teach every day, because he says the more he teaches, the more he learns. The more he teaches, the more he learns. The more he teaches, the more he learns. That's why we have the position of coach, trainer, investors. Coach, trainer, investors. While you're coaching, you're training. And you're investing in others while you're investing in yourself at the same time. If you chase money, you never have it. You chase personal growth, you're sure to attain wealth. Let's go and look at the I Am Rich bills. This is all part of stimulating the mind. Stimulates my mind because I like smelling money. But I also like what I see on the money and what I read on the money, because I know it's sinking into my subconscious mind, and I know it's turning paradigms, so I can strengthen who I am mentally, and I can strengthen the balances. So inhaling, exhaling. I am and I have riches in health, wealth, happiness, love, success, prosperity, and money. Inhale. I am rich. I am and I have riches. I am and I have riches in health, wealth, happiness, love, success, prosperity, and money. $1 million bill, that's what I see. And guess what? Right now, my subconscious mind is not denying what I see. I'll repeat that. My subconscious mind right now is not denying what I see, because my subconscious mind doesn't know what's actually real or not. Once you learn how to play that game, you will manifest at an exponential rate. Your ability to manifest will be even stronger. Things will come to you. What I'm going to show you today is based on manifestation. When I threw out billions, one resource came to the table, a resource we call the 600 program, and specifically the 660, the 660. I got to get that to my subconscious mind. The 660, now it's in yours because I'm repeating it over. The 660 program. Individuals who have 660 credit scores. Mr. Mensah, I'm going to need assistance. And Mr. Nickens, they should be able to hear my phone, right, on this mic? Excellent.
They listen through your phone. Yeah,
Huh?
they can hear you.
Right. So do I have to pick it up or anything like that? Okay, we're good. Mr. Mensah, how are you? Let me turn it up.
You gotta turn it. And then,
Go ahead, Mr. Mensah, how are you?
is your phone?
Yeah, I got you. My speaker wasn't up.
Oh, your speaker.
So how are you, Mr. Mensah? One more time.
I'm doing great, Mr. C.
There you go. Which one? Are you going to use that one? Okay, awesome. You excited about the 660 program?
Extremely excited.
Tell everyone why.
Well, as they would say, it's an enormous opportunity to get funding into the community that will permit them to take advantage of other products and services that we have. It's also an opportunity to generate income. So it's a win-win-win situation.
Absolutely. And you can be someone to validate what I've said. When I threw out, we're going to have billions in funding for small businesses and investors of color. When you heard me throw that out into the universe, we did not have this program. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So you can validate that once we threw it out and it came to us, I acknowledged it by saying, this is one of the resources that we're going to be able to use. Not the only one, but one of the resources we're going to be able to use in reference to funding to help us achieve that goal. Did I not say that?
Yes, you did.
So one of the things you got to understand, family, understand community, understand coach, trainer, investors. We all have the ability to manifest anything we want. We just have to understand the dynamics and get past us. It takes a person to be humble, to be honest with you, to say, I don't know the intricacies of how this works. It takes a humble person. The older you are, sometimes the less humble you are because you think you know that you know that you know. Well, I'm going to humble myself to tell myself I'm learning this every day. I'm going to humble myself to say that I need to stay focused and learn this information every day and continue to utilize it so I can continue to be blessed. And continue to teach, to continue to educate, motivate, and inspire so I can bless others and bless myself. When you adapt that formula, your life will change. On our calls in the morning, we all talk about giving people the money. There's no doubt in reference to creating billions of dollars if we're helping people get billions of dollars. And if you're part of that equation, you're part of that cause, you will get major returns. So the great news is we have an opportunity to prosper together as a group. And the great, even best, and something that's even better, it's going to prosper your dream and vision. What we're going to show you is going to prosper your dream and vision because you can take advantage of it. And you're in a system right now where if you have 660 credit scores and we go over the criteria, you can get in first. And even if you don't have some of that criteria, you're going to get it. Well, if you have credit issues, that's going to be fixed over a period of time. If you're not generating enough income, I'm going to show you even within the infrastructure that you can generate enough income over a period of time. What we're going to do real quickly, we're going to go over to the whiteboard because I want to focus on the PPN real quick. Then I'm going to come back and we're going to let Mr. Menser give some information on the program. Now, we're still learning it as we go. And then I'm going to give you the release date of the program. So we're going to do this within the next 25 minutes. So I'm going to be talking fast because I want to get out of here at the top of the hour. So quickly, we're going to go over to the board. So what we're excited about is obviously we talked about the PPN. We talked about having the ability to secure over $500,000. Let's break it down once again. Let's say, for example, you get your first PPN. All right. My goal is to get everybody to $25,000 plus. Sometimes it might be less initially. But the goal is to get something so you can transition to the next one. But let's look at one. Let's look at one. Let's look at one PPN. All right, you get into the program. As you know, there are different steps that we have. There are 7 steps before we can get to the money. The first step is getting the number. The second step is having it report to the bureaus. The third step is we utilize our vault and we help put trade lines on so it can initiate a score. Once you really get into the program, you're going to know this information in more detail because now you're going to be a product of the product. But that step helps initiate a score. But the scores we're initiating are scores. The majority of times it's going to be 700. My goal is to have 300 individuals with 700 credit scores walking across the stage, doing it where we can educate, motivate, and inspire, and we're doing it as a community. We're doing it as a community. We're doing it as a community. Why? Because it will inspire others and give them awareness and put them in a position where they might say, wow, that can happen too. Especially a community that's invisible. We talk about the different invisible communities. If you have an opportunity to read the book, The Memo, it talks about 500 credit score communities being defined as being invisible. Come on now. That's got to change. So now we're going to change ignorance to enlightenment. Going over this real quickly. So say, for example, you go through the 7 steps. You get to step 1, which is the number. You get to step 2, which is have it report to the bureau. Step 3, the trade lines. Step 4, now we're going into funding. Step 1, number. Step 2, the bureau. Step 3, we initiate the trade line. Step 4, we initiate the scores. And step 5, we're able to get the money. And then step 6, 6 months after that, you go 50,000. Then step 7, 6 months after that, you get 50,000. Now we're talking about 125,000. Okay, so you take the first one and get the second one, that's another 25,000. Second to get the third, that's another 25,000. Third to take the fourth, that's another 25,000. If you add it 25, 25, 25, 25, that's 100,000. Now, if you add the 4, 50,000, 50,000, 50,000, 50,000, that's 200,000. And then the next tier, 50,000, 50,000, 50,000, 50,000, that's 200,000. 100, 200, 200, that's 500,000. This is your bank that you're going to be able to make investments with. This is your bank that you're going to be able to make investments with. Now, the great news is this. As you know, the PPN is, I'm advocating, we have 2, we have 3,000 and 3,500. After Wealth Launch 2, we're only going to have 1, and that's going to be 3,500. But as you know, in the industry, what we're giving you, have an opportunity, number 1, have a score. Number 2, get a report to the bureaus. Number 3, we're putting trade lines. Number 4, we're able to generate 700 scores. And then number 5, being able to get money. Now, as you know, the 25,000 on the back end, after you get it, I want to make it clear, it's not before you get it. People think it's before you get it. There's going to be 15% on the back end. Now, the good news is that's not something you have to do. You can go do it yourself. If you have a connection, you can go do it yourself. I don't mind that. Matter of fact, you might throw your connection to me so we can talk. But if you want us to do it, it's going to be 15% on the back end. But then you take the money and recycle it and go over and over again. But also we understand there might be some challenges out there. So we're introducing the 660 program. Now with the 660 program, I'm going to let Mr. Menser explain some of the details on how to qualify. Now, the release date is next Saturday. The release date is next Saturday. The release date is next Saturday, and we're going to release it right here on Mavette TV. I'm so excited, but because you're here and because you decided to look at the video, you're kind of getting a peek view of what we're going to talk about next Saturday. Because we're going to send this recording out to people, and guess what? They're not going to watch. They're going to be too busy. So the individuals who are live, who I know were on, say, I know who was on. Because why? Because they called in a conference call. You got an edge, because I know you were on. Think about it. And then the ones who see the recording, you're going to have an edge just because you're going to get the knowledge before everybody else. Mr. Menser, how are you?
Great, great.
Do you mind explaining the 660 program to our listening and viewing audience? As you know, we are still learning it, so to the best of your ability, if you could explain the program to them, I would appreciate it.
As you say, we're still learning, but the basic qualifications: minimum of a 660 score. That's required on all three credit bureaus. That's Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So the minimum score is 660. That's actually how we're calling it, the 660 program. And that score has to be on all three bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. You can have no more than 4 inquiries in the last 6 months or 8 in the last year. So no more than 4 inquiries in the last 6 months, no more than 8 in the last year. If there is a bankruptcy, it must be 2 years and older. So you can still apply if you have a bankruptcy, but it has to be at least 2 years or older in terms of when it was discharged. Credit usage has to be 50% or less. So whatever your lines of credit are, as an example, if you had $20,000 lines of credit, then it would have to be $10,000 or less that you're actually currently using. Requires a proof of income. We'll touch on that because it's a little different between whether you're a W-2 employee or if you're self-employed. You need a minimum of 3 active and current trade lines. Minimum of 3 active and current trade lines. And there are no co-bars on this account. This is based upon individual applications because it is an individual personal loan. And no authorized users are allowed, again, as individual applications. There's an actual loan application that would be filled out. Request 3 months of bank statements. 3 months of bank statements. A color copy of the driver's license front and back. Color copy of the driver's license front and back. Color copy of the Social Security number card front and back. Again, color copy of the Social Security number card back and front and back. Copy of a voided check. This would be from a personal checking account, because that's where the funds are going to go. So you need a copy of a voided check. For 2018, you need a W-2 2018 or a 1099 if you're self-employed for 2018. For those individuals that are self-employed, they will require 2 years of tax returns and a 4506T, which is authorization to IRS to release your tax returns. That's self-employed. If you're a W-2 employee, you want to see the most recent two paycheck stubs, and then you also will need a utility bill with your name and physical address. In terms of the process, we'll be communicating in terms of the application. You also will need to provide a copy of the Tri-Merge credit report. That means a report that is showing your current Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. That's called the Tri-Merge credit report. So you'll go through submitting the application. There's a compliance call, which should be about 15 minutes to verify the information, discuss the steps of the process. Loan decisions are generally within 24 to 48 hours, so you'll get a decision once you complete the compliance call. Everything is in. And one of the things that can delay the process is having inaccurate username and passwords in terms of your credit monitoring service. That's a very important piece, that the username and password has to be complete and active and verifiable. Once a decision has been made, you'll be contacted and asked for a verbal authorization to move forward. That process there includes the terms, the amount that you're being funded for in terms of the approval of the loan amounts. And then once you approve it to move forward, funds are going to be deposited directly into the personal checking account within 7 days. That's the reason for the voided check for your personal account, because the funds are going to be directly deposited into your account. On this particular account and program, it does have a 15% success fee on the back end, which simply means is that if the funds are deposited into your account, then you're going to have a 15% success fee, and it would be basically wired to the location. It is important that when you do have an authorization in terms of a loan approval, that you make a decision. This is not one of those where you can delay for a week, 2 weeks, etc. Because if you delay too long, the terms and conditions could change, which means you'd have to go back through the approval process again. In some cases, it might drastically reduce the amount of funds that could be available. So it is a decision mode that you're going to need to think about before you go through the process, to understand that when you do get the approval, then it's going to provide you the information. The payback basically would start within 30 days. Loan statements are going to be sent to the address that you've submitted. And generally, the interest rate is going to be 7% or higher, depending upon your personal situation in terms of the evaluation of the account. And it's basically pretty much like purchasing a vehicle, in that you've got a fixed period of time with which to repay the loan. It's a process that is great because you can use the money for a variety of things, real estate, investments, etc., etc. So you're getting a personal loan, and you're in a position to pretty much use the monies however you want to in terms of taking advantage of the program. The great thing about it is the goal, not a guarantee, but the goal is to try to fund you at twice the amount of your documented income. With the minimum income is $30,000. So on $30,000, you could possibly receive $60,000. And it goes up from there based upon the amount of income that you're able to document. As far as I know at this point, it maxes out about $200,000 of income, which would possibly, potentially project as much as $400,000 in terms of the personal loan. So that's kind of a quick overview of the program. Once all the information is submitted, the process works fairly quickly in terms of knowing what's there. In some unusual cases, additional documentation or verification could be requested. Just depends upon your particular profile if it's complete, because you have to remember that these are unsecured funds. There's no collateral that you're putting up. It's strictly based upon documentation and verification of your earnings in terms of either W-2, 1099, etc. So it should go very, very quickly once the process starts. It's also important that once you get a response in terms of what you're approved for, that you make a reasonably quick decision. As I mentioned before, the pre-approvals could change based upon the length of time it takes you to make a decision. Because if additional information comes in, and this is not a good time to, when you're going through the process, it's not a good time to initiate additional applications for funding. It's not a good time to do refinances of property. It's not a good time to purchase a house, etc., because all those things can impact the approval process of what you're going to be approved for or what you could possibly be denied for, because, again, you have to remember that the banks are looking at getting the funds repaid. So they're going to look at any additional debt that you are submitting into the system that may call a question into your ability to repay the funds that you're getting on the 660 program. Back to you, Mr. C.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Great job, Mr. Mentzer. Here we go real quickly. Let's say your yearly income is $30,000. You could potentially, it could be a little bit less, could be more, but your potential, the goal is, there's no guarantees. The goal is, that's the disclaimer, you could get $60,000. Once again, your yearly income, 30, 50, 100, 200. 30, you just got $60,000. 50, you just got $100,000. 100, you got $200,000. Let's say you're doing that $200,000, you just got $400,000. Now, what the significance is and what we're going to show next week is how you can make money off the program by helping us with the application, making sure the client gets the application into our new website. You will have an opportunity based on helping them the success fee, getting a bonus from the success fee. So, for example, off of the $60,000, you would make $600. After the $50,000, use that simple theoretical example, 1%, you just made $1,000. Off of this, just getting the application, making sure the application gets in. Once it gets in, what we're going to do is our system will call the client, will educate the client, will motivate the client, and put the client in a position to succeed. So that would be, look at this, 100,000, that's 200,000. Off of 200,000, this is one person. One person. One person. Can we say more money? Can we save more money? Can we save more money? You just made $4,000. Now let's say you got 10 individuals in. All right, let's say in one volume month. Just a simple theoretical example. Well, you just made $6,000 that month. How you doing? And let's say off of here you got 10 individuals in at 1,000, you just made $10,000 that month. How you doing? 1,000 times 10, 10 grand. How about over here, $20,000 if you got 10 individuals? $40,000 if you got 10 individuals. Am I correct on that, Mr. Menser? The math? Does it sound correct?
Yes.
Woo! I started the conversation by saying, whatever you make a year, let's focus on you condensing that to a month. Remember, this is just one revenue stream that we have. Also, we got the PPN revenue stream. Also, we got the newsletter revenue stream. Also, you're going to be able to do real estate revenue stream. We got the day trading revenue stream. We got the day trading investment club revenue stream, and on and on and on. I'm bringing more money to the table. What you going to bring to the table? I'm bringing more opportunities to the table. What you going to bring to the table? I'm giving you, and we are giving you, with the program, an opportunity, because there's no guarantees. Let's start the disclaimer, but a chance is better than no chance at all, to condense a yearly income into a monthly income. What do you bring to the table? What you should be bringing as a coach, trainer, investor is a focus and a desire and a passion to get the word out, to get the information out, to be an advocate, also to learn how to coach, also learn how to train, also learn how to invest. What you should be focusing on is you being there. See, I'm gone. Put yourself in that spot. This is where you need to be, right here. Not just me. We need some more leaders to step up to make this happen. That's where you should be. Because I'm here to help create individuals and put them in a position where they can create what they want to create first, is their passion and purpose, but also put them in a position to succeed. Let me show you, let me give you a quick view, then I got to get out of here because I got about 3 or 4 minutes. Not yet. Don't switch it over yet, Mr. Nickens. Don't switch it over yet. All right, now you can switch it over. I'm excited. New website. Going to be introducing it on Saturday. Dream Vision Nation, small business loans, simple, fast, and flexible, unsecured funding, no collateral required. 25 to 400,000 potential in 5 to 7 days. We offer 2 program options to meet the needs of any business. Minimum 660 credit score. Bankruptcies must be at least 2 years old. No more than 8 inquiries per bureau within the last 6 months. Obtain capital for business or personal use funding. Also, we got the Invisible Credit Program. Hello, we're going to break it down next week. 4 easy steps for applying. Applying is easy for the 660 program. Number 1, apply online. Number 2, receive contacts by email. Number 3, compliance calls. Number 4, funds are wired to your account. We're going to go over the 4 steps also on the 700 credit score program. Welcome to the Dream Vision Nation difference next week. Fast and easier next week. 660 program. We take out the guesswork. Let's talk about all the entities, auto dealerships, home base, businesses, trucking, lodging, cell phone, retailer, accountants, offices, contractors, internet marketers, tax preparation office, seasonal businesses, travel agency, and many, many more. Take it off. They don't need to see no more, Mr. Nickens. Take it off. They don't need to see no more. Next week.
More money,
More money, more money. Next week, 11 to 1, 2 hours, we're going to go over in intricate details the process of how it works, how the application works, how to set you up and put you in a position where you can get more money. Mr. Nickens, when they think they caught me, I'm already gone.
Come on now. Huh? When everybody else is sleeping,
Mr. C is creeping.
Money creeping.
Money creeping. Next Saturday from 11 to 1, we're going to go over more money, unless you don't want to make more money, because some people don't want to make more money. Do you want to make more money, Mr. Nickens?
All the time.
All day, every day. There's 3 types of individuals in this world. People make things happen, people watch things happen, and people say, what happened? Because I'm with people, make things happen. Be blessed. We'll see you at the top.